Hello everybody, I hope you're having a fantastic day. I've got a bunch of packages, so it's time for a mailbag. I've got a work project going on and I need some of the things that are in these packages, so I'm just gonna start ripping right through them and see if we can get some mailbag action out of it. I know what these are. So these are momentary push buttons, and I got these from Amazon. I use these all the time in Arduino projects, and I primarily use them with this case here. And you can see this is the one I've drilled a hole in. I forget the name of this company, but I have, I think, shown these cases on the channel before. But one thing I like about these buttons is that they fit right in. You got to push a little bit, but they fit right in the hole that comes on these cases, so I can put a reset button and a network activation button and things like that in there. And I happen to need one red and one black for my purposes, so they kind of work out well. It's about 10 bucks for 20 buttons, which is, you know, way cheaper than they used to be at Radio Shack, where I would get a button that looked exactly like this. So so far I haven't had any of them break from, you know, getting hit on the side or anything like that. But not a whole lot to say about these, but I do like them, and so far they've been pretty good for me. While I'm actually looking at that, I do have these sitting over here. These are 3mm basils, and they're a little small. A lot of times I wind up either having to put a washer or an extra nut in the front, but these things, let me go ahead and thread this on here. These things, if you thread an extra nut in the front, will go in those same holes. So I don't have to go all the way down, but I can use the little LED holder just like that in here. And so I can put a 3mm LED and a switch right next to each other, and then another 3mm LED and another switch, or button I should say. All right, next up. Yeah, okay. This is a kit for a mini split air conditioner, and mini splits have been popular overseas for a really long time. They're really starting to take off in the US. They're really efficient, they're really quiet. Most of the time they're really efficient, they're really quiet. But they do have a different air conditioning port than your typical household or even automotive air conditioner. And so one of the reasons why I recommend getting these adapters is because if you get an AC tech to come out and work on your thing, there's a really decent chance that they won't have this adapter. And so I like to have them myself. I also have a set of gauges and a vacuum pump and all that kind of stuff, so I work on these things on my own. But I've given away a couple of these adapters to people who are in a pinch, so I am replenishing my collection. They also do come with these seals, and I've found that the sets, the copper lines that come with mini split units often are pretty terrible. So you do kind of want to use these little seals, and they come with some extra valve stems, and they come with a core tool, which is actually kind of nice. And I think this whole kit is like $15. So if you have a mini split, just go ahead and spend the $15 and put this somewhere where you won't lose it, because you can almost never get these things same day on Amazon. So if your air conditioner goes out, you'll want to have this on hand. All right, this one feels AliExpress-ish. Open this up, and we've got a box, a little smashed. I have absolutely no idea what this is. Oh, okay, I think this might be a theme. So I ordered a bunch of these 433 megahertz remotes. And one of the issues is that on Amazon, you really can't find these style remotes like you used to be able to. And so I ordered a collection of them off of Amazon now, I believe, or off AliExpress. I believe these ones are actually programmable to where you can, you know, put two together and program it. And what I use these for is around my house, I have installed 433 megahertz fan controls. So what I'll do is I will clone that remote to these. So I do light on, light off, fan high, fan off on these 4 buttons. But I also do use them in some of my other projects, and I've basically run out of stuff, so of these remotes. So I bought a collection of them to see which ones I like, and I have a feeling some more will be coming in. All right, next up, I'm just going to cover the address here. We have another one. I really liked this style. This is one I had to take apart for a project, This feels like everything else, feels a little cheaper than the last one that I got, but I like these that they screw together, and I think this one is programmable also with these little A, B, C, D buttons. So again, I'm trying to keep, let's see what this thing says here. It looks like, yeah, see, this is programmable. So I think the idea is you take your old remote and your new remote, and yeah, you can duplicate the remote. Now, I've bought a lot of this style right here, these white ones, and I used to be able to get them on Amazon and stuff like that, but I haven't been able to get them lately. So I feel like I've got another AliExpress laying around here somewhere. This might be it. Let's just open this one up. Let's see what we got. I think I went right through the Ziploc as well. Ah, we've got these pin headers. So these are actually special pin headers. And let's look at them for a second here. So the idea with these is these are made, this side basically simulates a chip pin. A lot of the headers are actually square, so what you want to be able to do is, if you want to sort of piggyback chips on top of each other, or if you make a PCB that needs to go into a chip socket, you want something like this that you can press straight in the socket. And so I didn't have anything like that, and so what I would do is I would wind up popping pins out of existing sockets and stealing the parts and stuff, and that was just awful. So probably not doing a very good job explaining this, but let's say you've got a PCB, this will pop on like this, and then depending on which side you want, one side will go into a chip socket and the other one will attach to the board. Again, just depending on the length that you need. I'm sure I'll have these in a project. I use them a lot in EPROM adapters and things, and I was spending so much time trying to steal these pins from other things that I just decided to buy some outright, and so I'll show you them in action soon enough. All right, you may have seen my video. I didn't open this because this was in with some other work stuff. You may have seen my video where I had to stick 100 capacitors together to make a cartridge work. And these are not your normal ceramic capacitors. They're not kind of the cheapy brown ones, but this came off of Amazon. And I think it was like $9 or $10. And so this is a collection. They look like tantalums. They're not. They're just standard ceramic capacitors. But I bought these because I needed a selection of smaller level capacitors. So I got some of these and just figured I would have just a little bit more variety, so that I don't run into the situation I ran into before with not having any 100 nanofarads, which there are 100 nanofarads right there. Got 25 of them. But I also did order a couple hundred of them off AliExpress again, so hopefully I'll get the right ones. But in the meantime, I can fulfill my projects with this kit from Amazon. That's pretty much what I do. My my system on this stuff is I buy a kit to give me some variety, and then I buy a ton of the ones that I actually use. And so, I've got this kit, so I'm going to have a lot of the common values handy, and then, as I run out of the other ones, then I'll start going deeper and getting more of them. So now it's actually kind of interesting. It says 100 nanofarad. It says 103 here, but if I'm not mistaken, 100 nanofarad is 104. So I'm wondering, oh yeah, they didn't show all the values on the front. Okay, that's a 104. So, okay, I thought they maybe cheated me and didn't give me hundreds again. So there we go. And next up we've got, oh, it's funny, I've got piles of these over here. This is nothing too fancy. So I always like to buy Key Studio Ethernet shields, but they are not available at the moment. So I have been using Sunfounder as a backup, and in my experience, they've been okay. The Sunfounder ones have been perfectly serviceable. They're not quite as heavy duty as the ones from Key Studio, but you can't get the ones from Key Studio. So I got the ones from Sunfounder, and I ordered a bunch of these for a project. So next up, this one looks like it's from Kowalski Designs. You probably know who they are, but in the chance that you don't, they are the internet's premier laser engraving source. So we're gonna see what we've got here. Not a sponsor of this video, but I will put a link in the description. All right, so I was told that I need to open the shopping bag first. So let's see what the shopping bag is. Ah, nice. Okay, this is from Lowe's, I think. This is the Tough Built Utility Scraper and Knife. Check this out. So let's demonstrate this thing. This is a utility knife that's very cool. It's a utility knife and a scraper in one. So the way this thing works is you push it like this, and it is a standard utility knife. or you can push it further out. Let me see here. I think you gotta, how do I do that? You push it further out like that, and it turns into a scraper. So you can use a normal utility blade as a scraper, then you push it out and it will go back this way, and you can drop it back in. So that is pretty gnarly. That is pretty sweet. That's, you know, back in my day as a kid, we had switchblades and things like that, but this is a fancy switchblade type thing. Just like it come into a fight like, wow, whoosh, I will scrape you. All right, next up, they can tell by the top what these are, the 18-ounce navy and teal pet bowls. And we're gonna start with the teal one because I have a feeling I know who this is for. This is the Office Cat Meredith's pet bowl. So a little, you know, kind of cool tealish color pet bowl. One of those, like, you know, almost like a, what do they call those? Like a Yeti type cup thing for the Office Cat Meredith. And then this one is for my mom's dog, Bentley. I'm going to try not to get fingerprints all over it, but Bentley Ashton. That is very, very cool. So these things are, it's crazy. They're surprisingly light, but they feel really good quality. Check that out, the little dog bone things on the bottom. This one I'm guessing doesn't have cat prints, has dog bone on the bottom, but these are very, very cool. And so you can get these at Kowalski Designs, and I will put, again, the link in the description. And last but not least, we have this one, which is a, looks like it says navy blue on it. And we're gonna open this up. And this is, check that out. My favorite things. This is a bike tumbler. So it's got all the different bike parts and derailleurs and chains and cranks and forks and sprockets and all that kind of stuff in here. So this is a, looks like maybe a 32-ounce tumbler. I don't know. Not very good at that kind of stuff, but one of these little tumblers engraved with all my favorite things on it. So that's cool. Yeah, so I actually have a laser. I have a 60-watt Omtech laser. Love it. I'll put a link in the description for that. But I don't have the rotary things to make this kind of stuff. Basically, you put it in a chuck with a NEMA 17 stepper motor, and it rotates the cup around as the laser fires at it. And there's you know, some just things to offset so that you can go around curves like this. But Kowalski Designs has a regular laser, and they also have a fiber laser. And I just moved it away from where I'm at right now. But the fiber laser can actually take metal like this utility knife blade and anneal it, or it can you know, it can engrave on this and actually change the color of the metal, and it's a very sweet effect. I know I've shown you in here before, and I'll probably put like a little video here of me engraving some of my tools and things like that. But you can do some very, very cool stuff when it comes to metal and the fiber laser. So definitely check out Kowalski Designs if you are interested in you know, any kind of gifts. So I bought some things for my parents for their anniversary and different stuff like that. So great guy, great company, and highly recommend them. All right, next up we got something from Amazon. This is the XGQ Pro T48 Universal EPROM Programmer, and this is going to be coming in a video soon. This is not a sponsored product, but I do a lot of EPROM programming in my, it's childproof. I do a lot of EPROM programming in my videos, and I'm looking for a general purpose EPROM programmer that I can recommend. And I think this is going to be the one, but I'm not honestly sure. I want to use it myself. And so I want to compare this to the other two that I have, and let you guys know what I think. So I'm going to put this through some exhaustive tests and let you know what I think. But this thing is good for both programming EPROMs and testing a bunch of chips, and it has a couple of other cool tricks up its sleeve, and so we'll talk about those in a future video. This is the XGQ Pro T48, and I have the T56 and the 866 2 Plus. Love them both, so hopefully I like this one as well. Next up, we've got one with the battery sticker. I don't remember buying anything with batteries, but you never know. I get a lot of packages in for work, so no telling what's what. All right, we got two things, right? Two things in here. Ah, yeah, okay, I wasn't expecting a battery. All right, so the first thing is a little different. It is an Astro AI 250 PSI digital tire inflator with pressure gauge, and I'm just finishing up renovating my garage, and I wanted a different one of these. You know, I don't really need the digital one, but I didn't like the other one I had, and I do like that this part is replaceable should I have any kind of issues with this thing. But you know, this is not fancy, but most people seem to think it's pretty accurate. So anyway, it's a pressure gauge and a tire inflator. There are ones that have more accessories, but this one seemed to have the best overall review. So it's got a couple of Schrader valve caps, a Schrader valve remover core tool, and a Schrader to Presta adapter, as well as some thread tape. So for those of you that don't know, Presta is the ones that are on a lot of the fancy road bikes like the one I have. So I do like that this thing has a little button here to relieve the pressure, makes it easier to get the thing off and all that kind of stuff. So it comes pre-connected with a connector here. So anyway, we'll see. I'll give a review in my garage tour. And next up we have this. This is the OmniShield Professional Face Shield by Lincoln Electric. And I'm going to go ahead and just take it out of the box and we'll talk about it. So one of the things I've figured out when it comes to PPE is that if I have it and it's accessible, I'll use it. And so I wanted a better one of these. Eventually these things get all scratched up, and I decided that instead of just buying the random off-the-shelf ones, I was going to get one with a quality headband and stuff like that, and one that has a replaceable lens. Now they make this in a couple of different varieties, and this is one that's an anti-fog coating, impact resistant, advanced headgear and all that kind of stuff, quick change shield. But one of the things, is that broken? No, looks good. One of the things that I've figured out, they also have a scratch resistant version, which costs about 10 bucks more, and everybody said it didn't really seem to be worth it. So with something like this, I can get it, and these shields are 10 or 11 bucks, and they're from Lincoln, so they're always going to be around. So it's one of those things where, every year you put a new shield on this thing, and you actually find yourself using it because you could see through it. And the anti-fog's pretty good here in Florida. So pretty excited to have this around. I may actually buy a second one. This thing was like 37 bucks, which isn't what I would call cheap, but he use a grinder disc. A couple weeks ago I had a grinder disc that just exploded and sent pieces all over my garage and stuff like that. And you're using a tool at 30,000 RPMs, you want to make sure that you have a full face shield on it. So and even I think technically you're actually supposed to wear regular eye protection below this thing. So depending on what you're doing, that may be a good idea too. I did want to say real quick, it constantly amazes me that you'll watch TV and you'll watch these car repair shows, and there'll be people who not only aren't wearing any face protection, but they take the guard off of the grinder, and they just want to see the maximum amount of sparks fly. And it's just amazing that there's not some kind of union that prevents them from doing something like that. It's pretty ridiculous. So anyway, don't do that. Buy something like this, protect your eyes. You only get 2 of them. And so, 37 bucks, well worth it. All right, next up, we've got one that I think came from eBay. This is 10 sheets of that foam stuff that is static sensitive, anti-static foam, and about a ½ inch thick or so. I've got a bunch of chips that I got from various places that I'm organizing, and most of the chips I'm able to just put in bags, but some of the fancier ones I do want to put in some anti-static foam and sort of sort them in layers. This stuff is a little thick, but it was on sale on eBay, so I got 10 of them for, I don't know, a little under $1 a piece, something like that. So got those. And last but not least, I've got this one here. I think this is a little bit off topic, but it kind of goes along with the rest of the video. This is a bicycle cover for my garage renovation. I don't want to open this up. I guess I'll open it this way. For my garage renovation, I'm hanging my recumbent bike in the garage, and I don't really want it covered in sawdust. I mean, it's not like it's going to damage it or anything like that, but there's some greasy bits that I don't really want stuff to stick to. So I got this cover. It's not the heaviest, dutiest of cover, but for my sake, where I'm just trying to keep some sawdust off it, it should work. People complained a little bit about like it doesn't withstand the wind in the back of their truck and stuff like that. Not really an issue for me. So, oh, it's in a bag. Okay, so it's a cover in a bag. And yeah, I mean, it's not fancy, but it'll keep the dust off. So maybe I'll get a picture of this thing installed and you can take a look at it. So anyway, that is what I got in this mailbag, another mailbag with some range. And I appreciate you guys watching and have a great day.